Okay guys, Arbiter G Vatum here, and today I went from making computers, well I'm still making computers, but found a vacuum tube in my tool room at school today. It's really cool, I love it. Really small. I would say it's a I want to say a 13 volt vacuum tube. But right now, at school, I just had these two 9 volts hooked up to it, and it glowed, and it looked really cool. And so I was like, well, you know, that's kind of boring. It got kind of boring really quick. So I was like, okay, let's why don't we figure out how to actually make this thing work, and how does it work? So, easy. It's actually extremely simple. I mean, these things are still used, little to people's notice, in things such as old radios or high-end guitar amps and stuff like that, because of the rich sound they deliver besides the digital analog sounds. But anyways, so now what this vacuum tube does, zoom in on it. Okay, in there is a heating element, which is that light. In there is those two little black things. One's on the left, one's on the right. They are close together, very close together. Not touching, but close. And so you can run two power, a positive and a negative, through those two metal pieces. But nothing will happen until you add the heating element, which is that light. Once the heating element is added to the equation, the electrons are allowed to flow extremely fast through the two metal parts, thus forming an electrical switch through heat. So that was a really awesome finding. I loved it. And so after I figured that out, I was like, well, hey, you know, I bet you we can actually get this little guy to work. So I actually hooked it up. I got the main power, which is coming from a computer power supply. It's about 12.5 volts. And then I got my 3 volt AA batteries going through for my switch. And so right now it's on. The bulb's heated up. Or the vacuum tube's heated up, I should say. It's not a light bulb. So this is the switch on. This is 7. Now if I disconnect the power to the light, the 7 stays on. Give it a few minutes and it will shut off. And this is because the heat is now disappearing and the electrons are no longer allowed to flow freely throughout the circuit. It's really cool. But this is basically, a lot of people that are computer savvy should know this. At school, people thought it was a light bulb, so it's kind of upset. Alright, so here's what happens when I turn it back on. Alright, trying to get a good picture of this because I'm doing two things at once. And it's back on, along with our heating element. And that is the basics of how a vacuum tube works. There are many different types of vacuum tubes out there. Some are stronger than others. At school we have a 340 volt vacuum tube, and I don't plan to get that thing running because it's probably not possible with today's voltage in the outlets. But it's an amazing find. I love the fact that I now know what a vacuum tube does, and actually, sorry, we can get a better view of what it is, what it looks like when I turn that off. So as you can see, there's these two little black things in there. The heating element is pinned 3 and 4, or 4 and 5. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, and up here, I don't know what's going on. I'll leave that to the viewers. But if anyone understands what's going on up here, I don't. I would love to know. Down here, it's pretty simple. Heat passes through and electrical flows through. But besides that, that is the basic working of a vacuum tube. Really cool that I found out what it does. But so yeah. Once again, subscribe, review, and any hints of what that top part does, I am totally open to.